Hare Krishna, Gauranga. Welcome to another Casey on the Go with Janardhan. Been reading recently the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I actually was attempting to make this video the other day, but as it is Casey on the Go, as you can imagine, things never always go the way you want it to. So my son got upset and ended up with the video was paused and interrupted. But yeah, so last couple of days I'd finished the chapter of Lord Chaitanya meeting with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, a really famous conversation, of course. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a Mayavadi, and he saw Lord Chaitanya come into the Jagannath temple, and the Lord, of course, upon seeing Lord Jagannath, he went into one of his ecstatic trances, and passed out on the floor. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, along with his disciples, they went over to the Lord, and they started to look at him and thinking, wow, he seems like he's a really advanced pure devotee, which we have to check his symptoms to see if they're correct and this kind of thing. So they took him to their house, and then later on, of course, the disciples of the Lord, they followed at the back, and because Lord Chaitanya had wanted to go separately from the group because of Lord Nityananda's breaking his danda, so he was kind of telling everybody he was fried with them, so he says, you stay back for a bit, So when they got there, they didn't find Lord Chaitanya, and then they had heard, okay, he's been taken to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So then, of course, they had a famous conversation that was very well known. This is the one where Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya eventually tells him that, I'm gonna retrain you up as a sannyasi by speaking to you the Vedanta Sutra based upon what's called the Sarirak Bhashya, or the commentary by Sripad Sankaracharya. And of course, Lord Chaitanya actually says that anyone who hears this, becomes destroyed if you hear this Mayavad philosophy. So he sat there for the 7 days, and he heard it all through, and he never made anything. He said nothing at all. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was really confused. He was like, "You're not saying anything. I'm speaking to you. Do you not understand what's going on? And he says, I understand the Vedanta Sutra perfectly, but your commentaries are covering, is clouding over the proper understanding. So this I don't get. It's so clear, but you're covering it over." So there's several things we can take from this wonderful pastime. Is one, this is how we can actually cultivate people, in Krishna consciousness, is we have to actually listen to them. If they feel that we're not hearing them out, and we're not genuinely interested in what they have to say, they're not gonna take to KC, at least with us anyway. They're not really we're not gonna be able to help them, because they can see that we're not interested. Either we think that we know better, or we think that we're superior. They'll kind of see it like that. So this is one thing to take into account, that we should genuinely try to hear them out, even if it's not nonsense. Just trying to hear them out at first. And of course, if you can see that you're getting nowhere, especially like if you're preaching on book distribution, and you can see you're getting absolutely nowhere, then you can pull back, and you can just say, okay, no problem, have a nice day, I wish you the best. But at least try to genuinely hear people out first, at least. And then the other thing is of course, Lord Chaitanya then goes on to refute the arguments, and he goes on to point out the different philosophical mistakes and so on and so forth, and the things that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was saying, and the Bhattacharya couldn't believe the knowledge, of course, and this is how he was able to see actually the Lord Chaitanya was Krishna, was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, due to the fact that he was able to just instantly point out things that he had heard 4 days ago, 5 days ago, like that, and he was able to explain, like, the shlokas and different things from so many angles of vision that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had never even imagined. So this is the expertise that Srila Prabhupada actually expected from us in his ISKCON movement, that we should be able to present the philosophy to anyone We should be able to sit down with these, you know, Mayavadi philosophers, Muslims, atheists, Christians, Buddhists, whatever it is, scientists, and be able to just discuss Krishna consciousness with them and not become easily defeated, Not that we go out to challenge, but especially again for the preachers distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. This is the thing that happens on a daily basis. You meet a person, they say, no, I'm not into that, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm an atheist, I'm a scientist. And you say, oh, okay, cool. And they say, why? And they say, oh, because this is still for you. Okay, explain how. Finished, I don't know, I've not read it, I haven't read the books, or I haven't, went deep enough to really fully understand it, or I'm not fully confident in it, And when they start challenging and they start presenting, their understanding of God consciousness, or their understanding of the source of life, you're going to get flustered, if you're going to get wiped out. And that doesn't then represent the true, spiritual nature of this ISKCON movement and the glory of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. So, like Lord Chaitanya, we should be fully expert in preaching, and that comes from daily reading, and not just reading, but not skimming, but deep reading, deep study. I've been, hearing recently, they're old classes now, very, very old, like 10 years ago, maybe more than that. The classes by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu and on his Bhakti Shastri. And I just got through his I'm doing the Nectar of Instruction, and just got through his Ishopanishad. And I'm completely astounded at the level of knowledge that he has, and his way to open up and unpack, Prabhupada's books. And I'm thinking to myself, have I read, is the same Ishopanishad that I read? I've read it loads of times. I'm thinking, really? Is it? I didn't read it like that. Not even close, And same with the Nectar of Instruction. I'm thinking, wow, did I even ever actually study the same book? So this is what happens. The deeper you go, the higher you go in Krishna consciousness, you can really become fully in tune with the vision of the Lord and the pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada and our current ISKCON acharyas. So try to see the importance and the higher goal of our life is that it is our duty to take this Krishna consciousness and spread it. How we do that, what aspect, that's kinda up to you. We have our different inclinations. Some devotees spread Krishna consciousness through their wonderful cooking and distributing it to friends, family, to the devotees, to their colleagues at work or whatever it is, or through Food for Life. Some devotees spread Krishna consciousness through their lectures, public speaking. Some devotees spread Krishna, in different ways. But every devotee should spread Krishna consciousness through the direct preaching method of Harinam Sankirtan and Transcendental Book Distribution. Srila Prabhupada, he wanted actually that this Chaitanya Charitamrita was distributed. And devotees devotees were saying to Prabhupada, I thought this was just the highest knowledge for us. Same with the Nectar, the Nectar of Instruction. The devotees thought, this is just for us, this is just for devotees. This is just a preaching book to devotees, No, it's a book for the future devotees, which is the ones that we're going to go out there and get on the high streets, in the towns, in the door-to-door, in the offices, in the businesses. These are the future devotees are going to read you could say the standard books, Bhagavad Gita, so on and so forth, small books, Bhagavatam, and then eventually the CC set that you sold them, thinking that it wasn't really appropriate, will burst out into their hearts. And then that Nectar of Instruction that you sold them, that you also probably didn't think was appropriate, or probably didn't really have the full faith in it yourself, will also then take them into higher levels of the practicality of Krishna consciousness. So these pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, like this story of the conversation with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, not only did they happen, so they are as factual, historical event, but also the philosophical output from it that we can take is that the advancement is there for us. It's there to be had. It's there for the taking. So keep trying your best, keep going deep, keep digging in, and give yourself that chance though, and that chance is read the books. All the devotees, all the senior devotees are saying that point. The famous stories still there going around. Devotees are still reeling from the effects of the article that went out, the study that happened in Mayapur a few years ago, where they started to ask all the devotees in the room, and this was all the leaders and this thing. Okay, how many times have you read Bhagavatam? How many times have you read CC? How many times? And they were like, the results were poor to say the least. So Prabhupada wanted us to read the books. Prabhupada wanted us to study the books. He wanted us to embody the books. And by doing that, when you go out there and present the books, then you're a fountain of knowledge to the people out there who are desperate for something far out. They're crying out for something, I don't want to say different because it's not different, but you know what I mean. They're looking for something other than what they have already, which hasn't given any satisfaction. So I'll keep you posted if I come up with any other wonderful thoughts from my reading. I'm currently doing the pastimes of Ramananda Rai, another beautiful story. But yeah, otherwise, good night. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.